are going to start Animal Kingdom chapter. So let us see what are the things we will need to study in this chapter. So let us start classified. So first let us understand the basics. Multicellular eukaryotes. First of all, what is meant by a cell? Cell is a fundamental and structural unit of life which we have learnt in 9th, 10th, right? So eukaryote, so I hope we all know the meaning of U, right? U is nothing but true. Karyote is nothing but nucleus. So the animals which are multicellular and which have definite nucleus are called multicellular eukaryotes. So heterotrophs. So in simple language, what is heterotrophs? Heterotrophs are nothing but animals which depend on other organisms for their food. Okay. So what is meant by motility here? So here we have the word motility. This means that animals have the ability to move around their environment. So example, Homo sapiens, that is nothing but humans itself. So humans have the ability to move around their environment. Now, Animalia encompasses staggering diversity of life forms, estimated at over 7 million identified species. So we study the fascinating creatures and share their key characters. They are, first of all, what we have to understand is they are multicellular eukaryotes. Their bodies are composed of many complex cells containing a nucleus, right? Then second, animals are heterotrophs. So they obtain their food by depending on other animals, consuming other organisms or organic matter. So there are types. Finally, most animals possess some form of motility, allowing them to navigate their environment in search of food, mates, or shelter. Okay, so let us start. So the first one, how did the scientists classify the animals? First of all, let us understand why there is a need to classify animals. So as we said before that there are millions of animals species on earth. So what the scientists did was to classify the animals on their key characters. So some basics of classification are mentioned here. So the first one is number of cell layers, that is nothing but we use a term called germ layer even in our chapter, that is diploblastic or triploblastic. Now what do I mean by diploblastic? So this diploblastic means the animals having two germ layers. Okay, so that is external ectoderm and internal endoderm. Triploblastic is animals having three germ layers. The second one is body symmetry. Body symmetry, we have radial symmetry and bilateral symmetry in body symmetry. So what is meaning of radial symmetry? Any plane passing through the central axis divides the organism into two equal halves. So if this is an organism, let us consider. So I am passing a plane through this. So this divides the organism into equal parts. Right? So that kind of symmetry is called radial symmetry. The next one is bilateral symmetry. So for this, the same definition but there is a change. Any plane passing through the central axis divides the organism into identical left and right halves. So that is the main point in bilateral symmetry. Presence of coelom. Coelom means body cavity. So animals which have body cavity are called coelomates, which do not have body cavity are called acoelomates, and animals in which mesoderm, as we mentioned earlier, there are three germ layers: ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm. So coelom includes where mesoderm is present as scattered pouches. Segmentation. Body is divided into repeated units. Example, earthworm. So segmentation is also called as metamerism. It is a term used in our NCERT textbook. So notochord. it is a flexible rod. It is derived mesodermally, rod-like structure and presence of a backbone. So these are the basics. We will study them in detail in the further coming slides. So animal kingdom is divided into several major phyla, each with distinct characters, vast diversity. So here are the key criteria used for classification include number of cell layers, they are diploblastic, triploblastic, that is germ layers, body symmetry, radial symmetry and bilateral, presence of coelom is body cavity, segmentation is body divided into repeated units, that is earthworms, and presence of a notochord, it is mesodermally derived rod-like structure. So based on this criteria, it is further divided into major phyla, evolutionary lineage. So let's start the further slides. So this is in detailed explanation of basis of classification. So level of organization, the first one is cellular. Now we know what is meant by cell. Cell is a fundamental and structural unit of life. Level of organization, the first one is cellular level of organization. We know that what is a cell? It is the basic unit of life. So cell is a basic unit of life. So example is sponges. They are also called as poriferans. We will study them in the further sessions. So tissue is nothing but group of cells, right? Group of cells form tissue. Similarly, group of tissues form an organ, and group of organ form organ system. Organs working together in systems such as human beings, like we have digestive system, circulatory system and excretory system, right? So in the similar way, all the animals in which any one kind of, if there is any one kind of system present in an animal, it is considered to be an organ system. There is no necessity that it should contain all the system, but if it has only one system such as digestive or circulatory system, it comes under organ system level of organization. So next we have symmetry. So the first one is radial symmetry. So for this, starfish and jellyfish are examples. So if I consider this as an organism in radial symmetry, this is a line which is passing through the central axis through an organism, which is dividing the organism into left and right parts. So this is called as radial symmetry. Now what is bilateral symmetry? Bilateral symmetry is nothing but, if this is an organism, we have a central axis passing through the center of an organism, but here the organism is divided into left and right identical halves. So they are identical, right? Then we have germ layers. The first one is diploblastic. Diploblastic is nothing but two embryonic cell layers, for example jellyfish. That is, if this is an organism, so if it has external ectoderm and internal endoderm, it is considered to be a diploblastic animal. Triploblastic, there are three embryonic cell layers. These layers give rise to different organs and tissues in adult animal. So the example is notochord. We studied that notochord is derived from mesoderm. So mesoderm is also a kind of layer. So mesodermally derived rod-like structure is called notochord, was the definition of notochord. So this gives rise to several other organs in an adult animal. So that is the meaning of diploblastic and triploblastic. So diploblastic is, there are two germ layers, that is external endoderm and external ectoderm and internal endoderm. But whereas in triploblastic we have three germ layers, that is external ectoderm, internal endoderm and mesoderm, right? So let's move on to the next slide. So the next criteria which scientists used to classify the animals was coelom. So what do we mean by coelom? Coelom is nothing but body cavity, that is space present between the gut wall. Okay. So coelomate animals, that means animals in which body cavity is lined by mesoderm, is called coelom. So as we discussed earlier, we have three germ layers: external ectoderm, and internal endoderm, and mesoderm. So we have been provided the detailed diagram in the NCERT textbook, so please refer to that. And we have pseudocoelomate animals in which mesoderm is present as scattered pouches. So pseudo is nothing but false. So first of all, pseudo means false. So pseudo is nothing but false. So it's not completely false, but mesoderm is present as scattered pouches. For example, if these are the two germ layers, we have mesoderm as scattered pouches, like something like these. So we totally have 4 scattered pouches in our NCERT textbook. Please refer to that diagram. Acoelomate is nothing but a means absent. Coelomate is body cavity, that is absence of. So a means absence of. So it is nothing but absence of a body cavity. So the animal in which body cavity is absent are called acoelomates. Now next, moving on to the further criteria on which animals are classified. The first one is digestive system. So here digestive system, nothing, it means, so we humans in general, we have two openings, right? So we ingest the food, ingest. So through which organ we ingest? That is through mouth. We ingest, right? We have studied it in 9th class. There are 5 stages: ingestion, absorption, assimilation, digestion, and so animals in which there is only one opening which serves as both mouth, which serves as both which serves as both mouth and anus. So an organism in which the digestive system has only one opening. So this is the key word, one opening, and that one opening serves as both mouth and anus. Why? Mouth for ingestion of the food, anus for egestion of the food. So an organism having only one opening through which the food enters and waste exists through the same opening because it has one opening. So example is Hydra. So this is called incomplete digestive system. Okay. So what is complete digestive system? It is very simple. As we have, like as humans have separate openings for food intake, that is obviously mouth. So we have mouth for food intake and waste elimination, that is nothing but the process of excretion. So that function is done by anus. So right, so that is what complete digestive system means. That means an organism having two openings. The first one is mouth for the ingestion of food or food intake, whatever, and anus for the egestion of the food. Now